What is happening, y'all? Welcome back to the Media Goose channel. It is I, the Media Goose, your friend Ryan, and the goose is loose, baby. Huh? And I am not coming at you alone today. It is Ryan squared, the second Ryan and Ryan mock draft. Welcome in my good friend, might as well be my brother from another mother, Ryan.
What's happening,
What's
Ryan?
going
How are
on,
you doing
man?
today?
Doing excellent. Excited to be getting back into a mock draft.
It's
How,
that time of year.
thank goodness. For a long time, the draft has been the only interesting time of the year to be a Giants fan. So it's nice to be able to show off my pride for the Giants more openly.
Yeah, with
Before we
all these
jump in,
signings.
before we jump in, what do you think of free agency for the Giants? How have you felt about it?
We have addressed a very large amount of needs that we have. We've re-signed some good players. Illumino at right tackle. I know
Yeah.
that was one of our biggest concerns in free agency. And then we addressed the defense with linebacker Edmonds.
Yeah.
The likely we got another tight end since Bellinger left, and then some back end help with safety, but we still have another mile to go at this point before we're
That's
both
right.
prepared and at this regular season.
Right, exactly. It's been interesting to see. They've loaded up in the safety room. They've really added depth there. So it's almost kind of taken Caleb Downs off of my like top two or three. I really like him, but with the amount of depth they signed, unless they trade Tyler Nubin between now and the draft, maybe he doesn't fit the defensive scheme as they hope to run it, but I was up until the last week. I was really thinking Caleb Downs was going to be our guy, but with the way the roster's shaken out, I think it's going to be more open to best player available.
Yeah, I mean you're not wrong there, but I do believe that he Downs is still one of the best players in this draft as a whole. Just
Yeah,
not at the safety position, but as a whole. So we'll see how this draft falls, and we'll see if he's still available at pick 5 when you make the Giants selection.
perfect. And as Ryan said, I'll be selecting for the Giants, which means I will be selecting the odds, and Ryan will be doing the evens. Let me share my screen to get this mock going. If it wants to cooperate. And of course it doesn't. Come on, what is going on here? Your screen sharing is paused.
Welcome to technology, am I right?
Yeah, unfortunately. All right, I think we are good to go. Where is my face? I'm assuming that our faces are still somewhere.
Yeah, I'm see us in the Zoom meeting
Excellent.
here.
So, number one overall pick, there's no excitement to this one here. I am going to make it quick and select Fernando Mendoza. He's really the only quarterback that's worthy of that pick this year. And the Raiders definitely need a quarterback. So, as straightforward as possible. What do you think?
I mean, at this point, I mean, we've known about this since the end of the regular season when the Raiders secured the first overall pick that Mendoza was going to go to be a Raider unless something drastic happened, which I think they'd be crazy if they don't pick the top overall quarterback and they debatably top 3 or 4 player in this draft to
Yeah,
fill a need after the train wreck that was Geno Smith
that
last
was crazy.
season.
That was wild. And now he's back in New York. So, speaking of New York, you are up with the New York Jets.
I mean, can we just pick all of the players to go to the Jets and see what sticks to the wall at this point?
Fair.
I
Definitely fair.
mean, I mean, the Jets have a mirage of needs. at this point. They need a wide receiver two to go along Garrett Wilson. They need corner help after Sauce. I know they need pass rusher after they traded Jermaine Johnson to Tennessee. So I mean, honestly, they could go anything at this point other than running back, just because I know they have Reese Hall tagged. Who knows how that's going to go? They also
Right.
have I can't remember his name, but I know they have a good,
Was it like Braylon Allen?
serviceable. Yeah, Braylon Allen behind him who can be serviceable. So here, I think I'm going to go arguably what people think is the top overall player in this draft with Arvell Reese. I mean, at this point, he's. I think there might be some front office fatigue just because I've seen some mock drafts where he's fallen to like 5, 6, even lower half of the top 10. It's like, why? Like, we know
Right.
he's one of, if not the top player, not only at his position, but in the whole draft. Yeah, Sonny Styles had a good combine, but I think Reese is probably a step above
Yeah.
Styles when it comes to line because he could move all over the field. He's like a Micah Parsons esque build per se, if you want to call it that. So that's why I gave the Jets the best player available, not only in this whole draft, but where they were picking because they missed out on Mendoza, who I know they would have loved to have gotten him if the opportunity arose, which
Yeah.
the Raiders would be crazy to trade off one there.
Right. And with next year's draft being as hyped as it is, I don't see many teams being willing to move first rounders out of next year's draft. I think it's more likely teams trade out of the first round this year to pick up picks next year because of how talented that class looks.
And I think the Jets have three first next year. They have their own. They have Indy from the Sauce trade, and then they have Dallas, either Dallas's or Green Bay's first from Dallas because of the Quinnen Williams trade. So I feel like they're in a fantastic position where next year they could take the quarterback that they desired as long as they don't somehow ruin it like they did a few years ago with Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson, which we saw how that ended up.
Yeah. It's going to be very interesting because they've added a lot of veterans in free agency, especially on the defensive side. I know they brought in Demario Davis. That's God, I'm shocked he's still playing. He's like 39 at this point. I feel like Aaron Glenn is kind of fighting for his job. He's hoping that he's the coach who can be making those picks next year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I agree with your assessment on Reese, though. He's the best player in the draft, in my opinion. I think he's going to be a great pass rusher. He had really limited snaps in college. So once you get him in a camp where he's taking all of his reps there, I think he's going to improve really quickly. And I think he may have an Abdul Carter like rookie year where they use him a little bit more kind of off the line to start because he has a lot of experience there and they'll work him onto the line to get after the QB. I think they might kind of mess around a little bit there and then halfway through the season they'll be like, "Oh yeah, we're not getting after the quarterback at all. You're on the line every down now." Like so with the Arizona Cardinals, this is a hard spot for them because I think they would really like a tackle, but I don't know that I like any of the tackles this high. It would definitely be Francis Mauigoa if it was anybody, but I'm going to do something. How ridiculous do I want to be?
As a wise man once said, do it. Do it now.
And I'm going to do it. I think that who's the running back they signed? Exactly. He's not a top running back. Damn it, what was the running back they signed? Let me look it up on Google. Basically, I'm taking Jeremiah Love.
Oh, they signed Tyler Algier from
Tyler
Atlanta.
Algier. I don't think they brought him in with the mindset of this guy is like a bell cow back. I think that's somebody you bring in to be in a duo. And I am pairing him up with what is, in my opinion, the second best player after Arvell Reese, Jeremiah Love. I'm a Notre Dame fan. Jeremiah Love's a beast. He's got a little bit of Brian Westbrook to him, where he's going to do a lot in the receiving game as well. And I think whoever they bring in at quarterback, besides Jacoby Brissett, they're going
I
to
think they
have a
brought in
really
Gardner Minshew as well. I think.
right. So whoever's starting, I don't think they're going to be passing a lot. So bringing in Jeremiah Love so him and Algier can be a two-headed duo, I think is the best case scenario for the Cardinals. So what do you think? It's probably a reach because of the position, but I just really feel like in a year where there's not elite talent at premium positions, you take best player available.
I do think that is a spicy pick. I mean, I know I saw it a few weeks ago. Some mock drafts had Love going at 3, but I know. I mean, it's not necessarily a bad pick because we have James Conner coming off injury. They had they signed Algier. I know they have the third round pick from a year or two ago,
Benson,
who
right?
did okay last season, if I recall correctly. But I don't necessarily hate it per se. I do think it's an interesting take just because Connor is coming off that injury. He's an older back, and that other running back they had before Algier just wasn't proving it per se.
Right.
So I don't hate it, but I do think it's a spicy pick. But that's what we're here for. It's a spicy mock draft.
Exactly. So you are up with the Tennessee Titans, where our previous bald head coach wound up and took Cordell Flott, Wandale. So
And
what do you think's
Bellinger.
up for the Titans? Yeah, and Bellinger. God, the guys that got you fired, you just paid them all to go back to Tennessee with you. It's a bold strategy.
I know the Titans are probably hating us in this mock draft because Love went one pick before their pick, which I mean, of course, you have Pollard and you have Spears, but I feel like that's a good two-headed running back, but they probably would have gone with Love if he was still there. They would have seriously considered it, but I know that, oh gosh, they have a lot of needs. I know they signed a bunch of guys and they brought in a bunch of receivers and Bellinger, of course. So the question is, do they want to add more to the offense in terms of either receiver or offensive tackle? Do they want to address some of the defensive side with linebacker or a edge rusher? So
Yeah.
I think what I'm gonna do is give. Oh gosh, I mean, I think I'm gonna go with David Bailey here, edge
Mm,
rusher from Texas Tech. I know the receiver class is kind kind of deep this year with good prospects that I've seen potentially being available at the top of the second with the likes of Casey Concepcion, Denzel Washington. I think that's Denzel
Boston.
Boston,
Yeah.
sorry, from
Yeah.
Washington, among some other receivers who could be there at the end of round two, I mean, round one or beginning of round two. And with who they've signed so far at receiver, I think it's best for them to address the defensive side of the ball and grab arguably one of the top, if not the top, edge rusher in David Bailey, who proved himself in the college football playoff game against Miami. He proved why he should be. Oh no, in the was he even in the college football playoff? But he proved he was one of the best edge rushers throughout the season in the combine. I feel like should give him a slight edge over Ruben Bain, but I believe that Tennessee is going to address the defensive side of the ball here, whether it be Bailey, Styles, or Bain, or even Dallas. But I think their pass rush needs to improve a little bit so their back end of the defense can actually do something.
Definitely. I think it was Bailey or Bain. I think Bain is the most likely to fall because of the arm length thing. And I feel like whoever gets him is going to get a beast. He's a really good player. He's a bull rusher. So I think he's going to fall a little bit, and I think that's a good call. I think David Bailey will be a good fit in a Robert Saleh system. So, the New
Oh,
York
I forgot about
Giants.
Robert Saleh. Yeah, I was going to say now that's even better pick, especially with San Fran with all those pass rushers they had. Yeah, let's
Right.
get them another one, him a cornerstone for that front line.
Absolutely. Um, for the Giants now, the holes on this roster, right guard, but I have faith they're going to get a veteran, whether it's bringing back Greg Van Roten, who was at least average last year. Batonio's out there, Zeitler's out there. I don't think they're going to take a guard at number 5. And like we said, Illuminor's back, so it's also not going to be a tackle. So we need a wide receiver number 2. We need cornerback. We need linebacker because it's we're gonna have 2 starters at linebacker. The reason why I love Carnell Tate, I think he's going to be really good. The reason I don't like him here, I just don't know the value of a wide receiver 2 in a John Harbaugh power run system. If Malik Neighbors is healthy, which I'm going to continue to hope that he is, I I just can't get my head around Carnell Tate going over. I don't think they'll have him rated as like a top 3 player where the guy I'm going to take is. Let me not take anybody yet. Let me ask you, what do you think? I'm kind of looking at Caleb Downs and Styles as, and there's been reports about Mansour Delane. So what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I would personally, after free agency signings, I would personally lean Styles or Carnell Tate here just because Neighbor's health, like, do you want to rush him back so quickly? I mean, granted, his injury was like the first month of the season, but do you want to rush him back so quickly? And with by taking Tate here, I do think it would take some pressure off. But as you said, the wide receiver 2 in Harbaugh's offense and Tate not necessarily being a true wide receiver 2, but personally, I'd probably lean Styles just because we signed some safeties in free agency. I think it's a little early for corner, but I wouldn't be opposed to it. And after re-signing Illuminor, I'd still think Maui Noah is still on the board, but because of his age, but I'd probably try to go with defense first.
Yeah, and I agree with everything you said. And the guy that I've heard a lot about Harbaugh really liking is Sonny Styles. I think when you look at a lot of people are thinking Caleb Downs is the Kyle Hamilton comp. Caleb Downs is not as big and athletic as Kyle Hamilton, but Sonny Styles is. Sonny Styles is an athletic freak. He'll cover sideline to sideline. He's a converted safety, so he has coverage ability, which will mask the fact that Edmonds is not great in coverage. Edmonds is more of a run stopping linebacker. So I think pairing up Edmonds and Styles will be great. And in 2 years, when you get out of the Edmonds deal, Sonny Styles is the unquestioned linebacker 1. So Sonny Styles coming into the New York Giants at number 5. Now that we're at pick 5, y'all, we are going to pick up the pace a little bit. We embellished, we took some time, but we're going to keep the pace moving a little bit now as we get to the Cleveland Browns. How you feeling about Cleveland?
The Browns? Talking about the Browns? The Browns? Please.
You're a color. You're just a color. You're not even a thing.
I mean, I know the Browns need a whole bunch of work on the offense. That's been their issue for years. With the defense, you have Myles Garrett and a bunch of other notable names here. So I'm going to go with keep this player in state and go with Carnell Tate from Ohio State. I would have
Excellent.
considered Maui Noah here, but I know they acquired a right tackle via trade in free agency. I do think it's a little early for the true left tackle.
Yeah,
And
Monroe
then,
Freeling would be a reach here, I think, and he's been mocked here a lot lately.
yeah, so I think that they get upgrade at receiver because Jerry Judy has not been it. Like, he's a good 2, in my opinion, but they need a true alpha. And keeping Tate in state helps upgrade that offense for whoever the quarterback be, whether it be Sanders, Gabriel, whoever they acquire in future drafts, they upgrade that receiver room to go alongside the tight end. I forget his name already.
Harold Fannin.
Thank you. Yeah, so
Yeah,
get another weapon to go alongside him and continue to upgrade that offense as they
yeah.
please.
And Todd Monken getting there. He was going to be our offensive coordinator before the Browns offered him the job, so I do think he's going to do whatever he can do to support the quarterback there. I'm afraid it's going to be Deshaun Watson. He's a criminal who shouldn't be in the NFL.
You're
I'm
not
a
wrong
Shador
there.
Sanders guy. You know me. I was Shador at pick 2 last year, which may have been ill advised, but I like brash personalities. I don't think. And also, when white guys act confident like that, like Jackson Dart does, I don't see anybody complain, but a black man does it, and everybody freaks out. So it's it's interesting, but I like the pick for Carnell Tate. Now we are going to Washington in division. And I think, let me see, the Washington Commanders. I don't see any of the wide receivers. I mean, they could all go in this range, but I don't like any of them this much. And I really love Ruben Bain. I just feel like he is. I'm not going to overthink how good of a player he is. He's a bull rusher. He's a monster. And I don't care that his arms are short. I think there are exceptions to every rule. And if you watch that guy play, he's a dog. I want that guy on the front of my offense or defense. And since Jeremiah Love isn't there, I think this is where Bain will go. I think we aren't doing trades here. I think the Cardinals could move back. Washington could move back because they don't have picks. The Giants could move back because they don't have a third. But for the sake of this mock, we're not doing trades yet. Week of the draft, we will, though. So, what do you think of Ruben Bain? And then we'll get on to the Saints.
Gosh, I know he'll give the Giants some trouble along with the rest of the NFC East teams.
Yeah,
I do know that he was showed during the college football playoff run. He kind of helped solidify his or top end prospect. Now, I know he has the shorter arms, but he's proven that despite this, he can still succeed and get to the quarterback, get around the offensive tackles, and pressure the quarterback, or even maybe drop back a little bit and like just swat things down at the
yeah,
line if needed. So I think that's a good pick and a good. I don't want to say a steal yet, but it's a good value for Washington.
yeah. And to me, if the whole arm thing wasn't a concern, Bain would be in the discussion at pick 2, 3, and 4. So they got to love that value.
Now it's time for the New Orleans Saints. Who day? Now I do believe that they have Tyler Shug at quarterbacks. I know they're good. He's proved that he could be good, so they're going to give him another year or two at the very minimum.
Yeah,
And question is, do you want to continue supporting him, or do you want to go defensive side of the ball? So I'm going to give the Saints Makai Lemon to go alongside Chris Olave. Chris Olave has proven to be a good wide receiver, but he has injury concerns. This past season, he was stayed healthy for most, if not all, of the season. But
mm,
in previous years, he had the concussion scare. He had a hammy injury. So while I do think Olave is good, I think it's good. It'll be good for Shug's Tyler's development to get another wide receiver to go alongside him because they traded away Shaheed. Like who else is there besides Shug and Olave? So getting that second wide receiver to go alongside Olave will be good for his development.
definitely. Definitely. I like that pick a lot. I think it's what I would have done as well. I think he's a game breaker. I've seen him compared a little bit to JSN. I don't like comparing guys to like the best people in the league. I think it's kind of like setting expectations too high, but he doesn't have to be wide receiver 1 with Olave there. I think that's a great pick. And the Chiefs are sprinting to the commissioner to hand in the pick. Caleb Downs is going to the Chiefs. because I think when you're a team as good as the Chiefs, you just take the best player available. You're never picking this high. So the fact that you get a player who is arguably a top three talent in the draft at pick 9 is a slam dunk, and you get to take something from the Bengals because I think they might have tried to trade up to try to get ahead of Kansas City for Downs, but I think Kansas City's thrilled that they're getting a player like Caleb Downs on the back end.
Yeah, I think that the Chiefs aren't in this position much where they're picking this high. So the fact that they got this Caleb Downs here and that he fell to them, I think it's a slam dunk, as you said.
He's going
It's
to
a
be a
good
monster, man.
pick.
He's going to be so good.
So we have the Cincinnati Bengals up at number 10. I'm not going to pick this player, but I do think this is the earliest we could see Kenyon Sadiq, the tight end from Oregon, potentially go. Like, I think this is his earliest range because you have Jamar Chase, you have T. Higgins, you have Burrow, but their tight end has always been hit or miss for the past few seasons. So they could consider tight end Sadiq here, but for our purposes today, I'm going to give them. Give me one. I'm looking at the best player.
Yeah, no
I
rush.
would
You're good.
I would either go with Kedrick Falk, the edge from Auburn,
Mm.
or Mansour Delay in the corner for from LSU. You know what? I'm going to give them Keldrick Falk edge from Auburn. I know they would. I think they would seriously consider delaying here, but by losing Trey Hendrickson in free agency to Baltimore,
Mm.
I think that they need to get another edge rusher on that line. And with their edge rusher last year, who we now had issues signing with them, I
Yeah.
think that it doesn't hurt to draft another guy to help replace Hendrickson and get that defensive line pass rush. It developed, you know how with Lamar Jackson and whoever else is going to be the quarterbacks of the AFC North teams. You
Yeah,
know,
you
you
got
want
to
a good,
stay after them.
yeah, you got to stay after them. So I think that's why I think they dragged Falk here to
Hey, if we
replace
get
him.
kicked
And
out of this meeting, we'll just jump into another one and keep going, just so we.
yeah, send me a link.
It'll kick us out, and then I'll send you the link once we're out. Yeah, we're good. I don't think it's gonna kick us out yet. We got
We have
5 minutes
5 minutes.
left. Perfect.
Okay. So as I said before, I think they signed draft Falk to help replace Hendrickson and get after the AFC North. They were so close last year to winning it. If they had just gotten like their defense is so hard, they need all the help they can get back there.
Definitely. Yeah, and Falk is really young, so as good as he is now, he's got a lot of time to grow into his like NFL body. I feel like guys, the regimen at which they work out goes up a level when you go pro. He's going to keep getting bigger and stronger, so I think Falk's a good pick. And I think right around this range is where Matt Miller, the draft expert at ESPN, said he only has like 12 guys with first round grades. So this is going to be the range where you start seeing guys go where you're like, is that great value? But people are just going to be picking the guys they think fit their system best. And now we got the Miami Dolphins, who I am going to keep this short and sweet. It's Jordan Tyson. I think I'm their number one receiver right now, or at least could be, after Waddle got traded, Tyreek Hill got cut, Nick Westbrook Akinu is gone. So whichever wide receiver was left, I think was going to go here. And they have another pick later in the draft to go best player
830.
available, right, from that Waddle trade. So I think Tyson immediately gives Malik Willis somebody he can rely on. He's not the biggest play threat, like he's not a game breaker, but I think he's going to be a really consistent guy in the league. Kind of like an Anquan Bolden ish kind of player where he'll beat you in the underneath. He'll be a reliable guy for Malik Willis. So Jordan Tyson to the Miami Dolphins.
And then now we got America's team. at 12 here, and I think it's between Francis Marioa or Mansour Delane here, but I'm going to give them Francis Francis Marioa here. I know they need that right tackle position as an upgrade. I know they have that left tackle, left guard, and then center or right guard secured. So I know Mario can kick in if needed to guard,
Right.
but Mariota goes to Dallas where he helps improve that offensive line even more. And after resigning Javante, having CD, having Pickens, it helps improve gives the offense more time to develop a play. As much as I hate to say it as a Giants fan.
I feel you there. I think that's a great pick. They got to keep Dak upright. Dak's missed too much time, and that's taken them out of too many seasons where they could have been a contender potentially. So I think keeping Dak upright is going to be a priority. They've got another pick at 20 where they can address their secondary. And I think Maui Noah is the best tackle in the class and probably better than the 12th player in the class. So I think it's a good value for Dallas.
Yeah, I was going to say I know I've seen mocks with him as early as 5 to the Giants, as I mentioned before. So it's good
Yeah,
value in my opinion for Dallas here at 12.
definitely. Now for the Rams, they brought in the Kansas City Chiefs cornerback room, so they don't need cornerback. Um, I am gonna go. Call me crazy because I know they have a lot of bodies at this position group, but I don't think they have a true difference maker. And I just want to see this guy with Sean McVay. I'm gonna go Kenyon Sadiq. I don't think any of the tight ends they have do what Kenyon Sadiq does at the level that he does. And I think getting Matthew Stafford a weapon like him is going to be the best case scenario. And I think I would take Kenyon Sadiq at tight end before I took Omar Cooper at wide receiver here. So I think they were hoping one of the top three receivers would fall. That wasn't the case this time. So Kenyon Sadiq gets Matthew Stafford, another athlete. Let's stop
Spicy.
here. Yes, spicy, but I think they've just got to keep committing to Stafford. I'm gonna drop out here. I'll send you the invite right away and we'll hop back in. I'm gonna edit this little section out of the video too. I will send you the invite in just a moment.
All right, do it now.
And, all right, we are back at it with pick number 14 and the Baltimore Ravens. What are you thinking for this one, Ryan?
Hmm. I know they basically lost an arm and a leg in free agency with all the players that left in the wake of Harbaugh leaving. So I am going to give them the top corner in the draft and or the top available corner here in Mansour Delane. I think it's between him and McCoy, but I with McCoy's injury and how he didn't play last season, I think I think that Delane is the best pick here to help boost that defense alongside Hamilton.
Definitely agree there. Mansour Delane. I think he's a really good corner. I'm not going to lie, I haven't. The cornerback position's the position I know least going into this draft, and with McCoy coming off the torn ACL, I'm pretty sure this is how things will fall. And I feel like Baltimore has lost a lot of corner talent over the last couple of years, so makes sense to bring in a young guy.
And I think it's between him and Ione from the guard from Penn State, but I think they want to upgrade that defense a little more.
Agreed.
But guard isn't played to help protect Lamar, but I went corner here.
I like the pick. I think they, like we said about the Giants, still a few free agents left at guard. I think Falele was their right guard. A lot of people thought he would be with the Giants already. He's like 6'9", 300 and something pounds. So he could be re-signed for the cheap. So I like them going Mansour Delane. I think he's definitely better than the 14th player in the draft, so another good value pick. And the Buccaneers. They need edge, they need linebacker, defensive tackle, a guard.
They're pissed. I'm sure that Sadiq went to 13,
Definitely.
and I think that Sadiq going to the Rams is interesting, but McVay can make it work.
I think I've had the two most controversial picks with Jeremiah Love and Kenyon Sadiq, but I like Sadiq's skill set, whether he's in line, whether he's in the slot. I think he could even occasionally come back into the backfield as like a split back. So I think he's going to provide a lot of flexibility to that offense. But for the Buccaneers, edge is the most obvious. Guard is also tempting with Vega Ioane. Let me see what pass rushers are looking at us here. We've got Akeem Messador probably as the guy, TJ Parker maybe. Based on the fact that I'm not that high on Messador because he's older, I think I am going to go with Vega Ioane because I think he is the only reason he's still available is because he's a guard and people will always kind of get stuck on whether guard is as valuable as tackle, but I think at 15 he's as high a value player as you're going to get still there. So I think you bring him in, put him right next to who is it? Um, Tristan Wirfs at left tackle, and I think that's a good start. So, what do you think of that?
I think it's a good pick. I mean, I know they probably want tight end or even receiver to pair with uh,
Ibuka,
the the receiver they drafted last year. It's up right.
Emeka Ibuka,
Yeah, to pair with Ibuka because
right?
Godwin's injured. Evans just left. But I think boosting that interior to help protect Baker and the rest of the offense is a good idea, especially with Sadiq going 2 picks prior. But BPA at a position of need for them.
Yeah,
So now we have New York Jets, who probably, like the Buccaneers were before them, are probably a little miffed because they could have used an upgrade at the interior there, and there's no true receiver to pair up with Garrett Wilson like the Saints did Apex before to pair up with Olave. So I am going to put give. I think this is a little controversial potentially, but I am going to give them Jermod McCoy, corner from Tennessee.
I was
As
thinking
we
the
all
same
know,
thing.
they traded away Sauce, so there's a glaring need there. And even with McCoy's potential risk due to injury, it's been over a year. And I think when he did play, he was one of the best, if not the best, corners in the whole college game. So I think the Jets going double dipping on defense, which is a specialty of Aaron Glenn's, will help improve their defense and hopefully take some pressure off that putrid offense that they had, which we'll see what happens the rest of this draft.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely like that pick. I think Aaron Glenn, being a former corner, he'll know if a guy like Jermod McCoy is ready, and I think he is. His tape from last year was probably better than Mansour Delane's this year. I think if all things were equal, he's probably the number one corner, but he didn't get to go at the combine, so the fall makes sense. Um, Now, Detroit. Detroit definitely needs a tackle with Taylor Decker gone. We've kind of let offensive linemen fall a little bit with Fano and Freeling both still there. Huh. I think because they have Panay Sewell, who I think is a natural right tackle.
I thought he was a natural left, but they shifted him to. I know he's
Huh, so I wonder
offensive
if they'll flip
tackle.
him back since they cut Taylor Decker, or if
I
it.
know whatever position he was out of college, they flipped him
Yeah,
because
I
they
think
had
you're right.
somebody.
that he started at left, flipped to right. So I wonder now if Decker's gone, is it easier to go flip back to left or do you drop a rookie in there? I kind of feel like because it's Goff's blind side, you'd move Panay Sewell to that side.
Hmm.
I am gonna make a pick that probably won't be popular. Or am I?
I know who I'd probably go with her, but it's your pick, so I'll let you pick, and then I'll.
I've done a couple risky things. I'm gonna play it safe and go Spencer Fano. I think he can play all five positions on the offensive line. I was gonna go Caden Proctor if I was gonna go anybody for them at tackle because I could see Dan Campbell liking a huge mauler like him. But I think Fano has flexibility to go wherever you need him to go, and I think they need to shore up the line.
Yeah, that's what I was going to go with Fano as well because they could flip Panay back to left tackle and make Fano the right tackle because I think that's his position in college. And even if they decide to move Fano to left tackle, I think he has experience on both sides of the line. So I think that's a good pick. Now we have Minnesota at 18, which with bringing Kyler, and it's like, yeah, it's not looking bright for JJ.
Yeah,
But
that's. I never thought he was worthy of the pick that he went at, so I didn't think. I thought he was like a second or third round prospect when he came out, so I think Kyler's probably gonna very easily win this job.
you're not wrong there. That's what I've been saying. But for the Vikings here, I'm going to give them the safety from Oregon, Dylan Thieneman. It boosts that defense up at a position of need. And I think they could go corner with Terrell, but I think they probably prefer to pick Dylan here
Yeah,
as a little higher BPA because both are needs. So
he's one of the guys that's surging up the board. I think he'll be a shocker where he could go as high as 10 to the Bengals, I think. But I
but
love this. Go
yeah, I was
ahead,
gonna
go
say
ahead.
I could also see Terrell just because you have the Mariota of the receivers in Green Bay, you have a Monrod and Williams in Detroit, and then you have the two receivers in Chicago.
Dunze and Burden.
Thank you. I was gonna say
Yeah.
what's blanking my mind. So I'm like, I can see why they would prefer Terrell, but so I think it's a flip a coin situation to what they think. And Terrell has the corner experience. Well, that comes in his older brother sibling is a
Right.
corner for the Falcons, I think. So I think it's basically who do they prefer? But I'm going to give them the safety in this scenario.
Nice. I For the Panthers, they took Teteroa and McMillan last year, and that worked out excellent,
Mm-hmm.
just as good as possible. I like the moves they've made. I don't care if they overpaid for Jalen Phillips. If you want a pass rusher, you have to overpay, and I'd rather them overpay a free agent than like trade first round picks to get somebody. I am gonna go with somebody who I think is another player that may go before this and has really risen up the boards recently. I'm going to go Omar Cooper Jr. at wide receiver. I think he is going to be a good, where T Mac is like a Mike Evans type. I think Omar Cooper can be more like an Odell, like catch him underneath and he might pop off a big run. I think they need to be investing in Bryce Young because they've got to decide if they're picking up his fifth year or if they're going to extend him. And the only way to do that is Omar Cooper Jr. right now. I almost went tackle, but they signed that tackle Rasheed Walker from Green Bay. So, and Ike Aquanu, he could miss this entire year. His career, that injury was rough. I hope he bounces back, but they brought in Walker, so it alleviated the need to reach. So Omar Cooper Jr. and Dallas is back on the board. Look at that. You get to draft for Dallas twice.
Funny. But here I'm going to give Dallas their Micah Parsons replacement in CJ Allen. I
Okay.
could potentially see them going with Avion Terrell to replace Trevon Diggs, or potentially slot in beside him or whatever corner room they have there. But I know their linebacker room, I think, needs that true playmaker that I mean, which they had, but they decided to trade. Jerry Jones decided to be a Scrooge and not pay
Yeah.
Micah, but
Jerry
I,
Jones is an idiot.
but I gave them their Micah Parsons replacement with C.J. Allen at 20. Is it a little bit of reach? Maybe, but they need it's a position of need, and they get their linebacker and their an offensive their right tackle with their two picks.
I like it. I think, like you said, they need somebody else in the linebacker room. CJ Allen, I don't think it's a reach, really. I think Steelers would be considering him if he was still on the board here. I am going to make a pick that up until right now I didn't think I would like, but Aaron Rodgers hasn't come back yet.
Oh boy.
And Mike McCarthy was brought in, the worst head coaching hire of the cycle by a long shot. He's basically white offensive Mike Tomlin. Like they are both guys who I see this ceiling on, and you're just going to be hiring a new coach in 2 or 3 years anyway. I would not do this. Let it be known. I am doing this because I think Mike McCarthy will draft Ty Simpson with the idea that Rodgers is coming back and he'll want Ty Simpson to have a year in a room with Rodgers. Because I think McCarthy and Rodgers, there's been a lot made about how that ended. They still talk really highly of each other. I do think Rodgers will be back. Can I do it? Can I pull the trigger? I hate it. No, I'm not going to do it. I think it's a bad pick, so I'm not going to reach on quarterback. I think Rodgers will be back. I am going to go Avion Terrell. I think cornerback is a position of need. They're pretty old in their secondary. So I think bringing in somebody to add some life on the back end, and I just can't justify reaching for Ty Simpson, but I think they might.
I think that's a good pickup by the Steelers and Terrell. I know that with J.J. Watt, with that front end being as good as it is, they need the back end to help maybe like force turnovers if they throw bad if opposing offenses need
Right.
like are pressured. So now we have San Diego Chargers.
Or Los Angeles.
Oh gosh, that was stupid of them to move.
Yeah, they're the least Los Angeles feeling team of any team on the West Coast. Like, it should have been the Raiders in LA with the Rams, but
But here we are.
yeah. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking one of two players, either Monroe Freeling, who has the versatility to kick inside, or Caden McDonald from Ohio State. And I think I'm going to give them Monroe Freeling here because, as we saw last season, both of their offensive tackles went down, and we saw. I mean, even though they made the playoffs, they lost. Could only score 3 points against New England. I think, regardless, Monroe can kick inside to left guard, preferably because I think he's a left tackle. And if he needs to kick outside, if one of them gets injured, cool, he has the experience. But I
Right.
think it's a big upgrade for them to boost that line for Hampton and Herbert and McConkey and all the other offensive weapons.
I agree. I would have I likely would have went with the same pick. I think Freeling's gonna go a lot earlier than this, but I just can't gauge where that is. It could be as early as 6, which feels insane, but now I get to pick for an NFC East team, and I'm between Akeem Messidor, Caleb Lomu. I think that AJ Brown is off this team by the time the draft comes around. I think he's going to be a Patriot. So I am going to go with Denzel Boston for the Eagles. I think that after they get rid of AJ Brown, they'll likely have more picks than just what we're giving them today, but they'll need more bodies in the receiver room. It can't just be Smith is the other guy's name, the Bama receiver, Smith.
Yeah, Devontae Smith, who the
Right.
Eagles screwed us out of all
Yep.
those years ago.
When we lost out on Micah Parsons and Devonta Smith in the same damn draft. So we got Cleveland coming up. You had the sixth pick, and you had given them Carnell Tate. So what are you thinking for the Browns here at 24?
I think they're rushing to the board right now, and they're going to pick offensive tackle Caleb Lomo from Utah. They have a big
Absolutely.
they have a big need along the line, especially at left tackle, and Lomo falling to them, especially with Monroe going a few picks before. I think they run to the board, beef up that line to help give the quarterback not only the receiver from before, but the offensive line as well to give them time and allow the new head coach, Steichen, I think his name Steichen, right?
Munkin. Todd Munkin.
Monken, thank you.
Yeah.
Monken, more time to design the offense and allow plays to develop.
Good call. I think them coming away with a wide receiver and a tackle is best case scenario for them. Chicago. They're going to get one of my favorite players in the draft, a player that if the Giants were to move back, I would not be against them taking. Frankly, I'd be thrilled if he makes it to them in the second, but I don't see that happening. I've got Peter Woods going to the Chicago Bears. I would love to see him with Dexter Lawrence, but it's not going to shake out that way in this mock.
Great pick. I know he's been falling a little bit because of some potential concerns with how he played, but I do think he's one of the better players if he can commit himself to actually doing it.
Yeah.
So
And
now
they
we
got a good
have,
culture in Chicago, I think. I feel like with the new coach and Caleb Williams,
yep, I agree with there. So now we have the Buffalo Bills, who traded for DJ Moore
they
in
gave
a
up a
fourth
lot.
round pick for picks. Their second round pick, I think, was 60.
Mhm.
So they need to really think about who they want to go with because they won't have a pick again until round three. So I am going to give them. Hmm.
It's a hard one.
Geez. Who is? I'm just trying to think real quick who that. I'm going to give them KC Concepcion,
I love that.
receiver. I mean, I
Great.
was considering the McNeil Warren or TJ Parker, but my opinion, the defenses in the AFC East outweigh the other offenses for the other team. So I think the Bills should get another receiver to go along DJ Moore and Khalil Shakir. I think that the one was the one receiver that had that the issues, character issues that this past season that they benched for the excuse me,
You're okay.
this past season or two. Yeah, I think he's probably gone, or if he's not, then he probably won't play much of a role this upcoming season. So they get like a true like alpha receiver to complement DJ Moore and Shakir.
I like that pick a lot, man. That's a great fit. I think Josh Allen would have a lot of fun with him. Now, San Francisco, the team that always feels like they're right on the edge of being great. I think it's a hard one. I think I
I'm sure
am
they're probably, in my opinion, I think they're probably upset that Concepcion went one pick before their pick because of their receiver room being iffy for this upcoming year.
definitely. I think they would have ran in the card for Concepcion. I'm gonna go best player available, and I'm gonna go Akeem Messidor because I think they're a team whose winning window is right now, so the fact that he's a little older doesn't really matter. They're going to be looking at his rookie contract as the 5 years he will have the most production he'll ever have in the NFL. put him on the opposite side of Bosa. I think Akeem Messador lands in the best possible landing spot for a pass rusher.
I was gonna say, I think that's a good pick because they're in one now, and with Salah, I mean, no, not Salah, but Shanahan. I think that's a good fit to go on that defensive front. Now we're at Houston now, and I think that come on, I think that they go with oh gosh, I know their offensive line needs a lot of work, but do they go? I think that they go. I think they're considering the Caden Proctor here because who was even their left? Ursere is the left tackle. Who he was a second round pick this past year, so I don't think they're gonna move off of him necessarily. I'm thinking. Hold on.
Proctor's got positional versatility to kick inside too with how big he is.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go with Proctor here just because of the positional flexibility, and if they want to move Freeland, their current left tackle inside, they can. But I think it'll help boost up that offensive line, regardless of how they want to shake it out.
Absolutely. We're back on the board with Kansas City. They were thrilled that they got Caleb Downs at the top. I would really like to give Patrick Mahomes a weapon because, I mean, but are they secretly hoping that they'll end up being the team that pulls in Tyreek Hill? Do they just go best player? I think I am going to go with TJ Parker. I like the idea of giving Spags another pass rusher. I feel like the Chiefs are at their best when they're pressuring a quarterback, so let's get another guy on the line there with TJ Parker.
I love that pick. Now we have
Miami's
Miami back on the clock.
the
They
Jalen Waddle pick.
they picked receiver with their first pick. So I'm going to have them go with Emmanuel McNeil Warren, safety from Toledo.
Love
I
that.
honestly think that he could go higher than that, but he
Definitely.
makes a little bit of a fall. But I think it's a good pickup for Miami, especially with how their back end looks right now.
Agreed. Agreed. That's another great value at the end of the first. The Patriots are up. Like I said, I'm pretty sure they're going to end up being the team that pulls in AJ Brown, so I'm not going to go receiver here. Linebacker, tight end, edge. I think I am going to go Cassius Howell here. I think Vrabel, being the coach, he's going to like aggressive guys on the front seven. I don't think that the Pats have any like stalwart pass rushers. They don't have like a top of the league guy. So bringing in a Cassius Howell, I think, is a smart, safe pick.
I agree with that. I can see that happening. And then we have the Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks
One of the most
picking.
surprising Super Bowl wins in a while. What a crazy year.
I concur. And then I'm just looking at what we have available, and I don't think they're going to go running back because there's nobody worthy here.
Agreed.
No, I think it's a little early for guard and center. So I'm going to have them go with Zion Young, edge from Missouri,
I like that.
and beef up that defensive front that had Leonard Williams. And that's all I can name from that defensive front. Even though they got home against New England, I think they would want to boost it up a little bit.
Agreed. I think they lost one of their guys, maybe. I think they might have had one of those pass rushers get paid. Um, we are picking up top of the second round here with the New York Jets. Shit.
One with Arvo, Reese, and Mod McCoy with their last two picks.
Thank you for that. Are we talking? I think this pick or the next pick, this is the range where Ty Simpson really becomes an option. But we talked about earlier, I kind of feel like the Jets are putting their eggs in next draft class basket. They brought in Geno to be the starter this year, and I think he's gonna probably take a beating. So I don't. I'm not going to give the Jets the quarterback here. I think they're putting their eggs in next year's basket. So I am going to end up taking Caden McDonald, another guy I think could end up going in the teens. So they end up jumping here. Could have been a decent pick at 16 if they wanted it, but he fell to 33. So I like that pickup.
And up next, good pick, boost that defense even more. I think receivers in play here. I think Ty Simpson's in play as well. And I picked 34 for the Arizona Cardinals. The baseball team or the NFL team? Which one are we talking here? But I'm going to have them surprise us all and pick Ty Simpson from Bama. I think his fall. I don't want to say it's a fall because I don't think he's a first round pick, but I wouldn't be surprised if a team like Arizona or the Jets trade into the back end to get that 50-year flexibility. But
Agreed.
Arizona picks up their quarterback of the future, sit behind Gardner Minshew and Jacoby
Jacoby.
Brissett, and he has that running back in Jeremiah Love for when he finally starts.
And I like the idea of,
And he
we
has
got
Marvin
Scat
Harrison
and, yeah, Marvin Harrison as well.
and Michael Wilson, or Micah, depending on who. I think it's Michael Wilson. So he has the weapons there when he's finally ready to start.
Absolutely. I love that. We've got the Tennessee Titans. They have taken David Bailey at number 4. I the way I drafted, I think they would have been considering Carnell Tate because I reached with Jeremiah Love not being there. So I am looking at the wide receivers, but Jeremy Bernard, maybe not. What's the guard position looking like right now?
At
Chase
Texas A&M.
Basantis. I'd like Basantis, but hmm, I am gonna go with a potential surprise, but like I said, with a draft like this, you're just gonna have guys taking what they think is a fit, and I'm gonna go Anthony Hill Jr. from Texas, the linebacker. I think linebacker can be a slept-on position in the draft, but I think Anthony Hill is you can plug him in as a starter, and I like the idea of a rookie, maybe not a starter because I think they have Cedric Gray. They have a decent other linebacker, but I really like Anthony Hill. I think he can be a linebacker for a long time in the NFL. So, yeah,
So now we have the nice pick, boost that defense even more for Salva.
right.
And now we have the Las Vegas Raiders, who I think are going to be who Raider. Who is their Colton Miller's their left tackle, I think. And
Correct.
then who's
I think
and
like
so I'm
DJ
going to
Glaze is right tackle, and
so
he's
I'm going to have them going with Max. The offensive tackle from Arizona State.
Onachor.
Yes,
That's a
because
weird
I
one.
know he's a right tackle, and that's what they need primarily instead of left tackle. So I think it's a good pick to help protect Mendoza. And I think receivers in play here with Chris Bell from Louisville,
Yeah,
but I think protecting him is priority right now, and then getting a receiver with their next pick.
definitely. So this is going to be the final pick of the Ryan and Ryan mock draft. The New York Giants at 37. If it were me, I'd be moving back. I would try to recoup some mid-round picks, and John Harbaugh is kind of famous for that. He likes moving back and acquiring picks, but we're going to save that for the next draft. I think. Ooh, there's a lot of really good value on this board right now.
Yes,
I
sir.
I am going to go with a guy who's further down this board, but I think is actually ranked higher. The reason I'm not going wide receiver is because I think with Darnell Mooney and Isaiah Likely, I think it's possible Likely plays the slot, kind of replacing Wandale. Not exclusively in the slot, but he'll contribute there. I'm going to go Emmanuel Pregnon. I think this is really low to have him at 49. That's crazy to me. I think he's like a top 20 pick at worst or player. Having him ranked that low is kind of wild. So the fact that he fell to the Giants, they're thrilled coming away with Emmanuel Pregnon, who, if you don't bring in a veteran, can start at right tackle day one. But if you do bring in a veteran, maybe
You mean
John
right guard?
Runyon. Yes, right guard. John Runyon, I think he's got maybe 1 year left on his deal. So if he's not a starter right away, Pregnon could replace Runyon in year two. And
I
I
like
just
that
love the
pick.
value.
I like it as well. Beefing
There it
up that.
is. What do you think? I mean, I know I kind of threw things off its axis going Jeremiah Love, but I think mock draft season is a time to try stuff. And I don't know. I just think that Jeremiah Love is going to be seen as the best player in the draft. And with the offensive coordinator they're coming over with from the Rams, they like running the ball. So it's a risk, but I think as risky as the running back position can be, I don't see Jeremiah Love as a risk at all.
I like. Yeah, I was gonna say it was a. I think Jeremiah Love is probably top 3 or 4 overall, or top 5 at worst. But him going at 3 really threw things on its side. But that's what you got to be prepared for because in a real life NFL draft is not the mock where you can just try them over and over. You got to adjust, baby.
And I think that could be a trade up spot. I think somebody could decide they need to get ahead of Tennessee to get Jeremiah Love. So even if it's not the Cardinals that are there making the pick, I wouldn't be shocked if you see a team like the Commanders don't have the picks, but I don't know, somebody with a
I
lot
would
of
have
draft
thought
value.
I would have thought New Orleans or Kansas City before they signed ETN and Walker, respectively. I mean, they still
Agreed.
could, but with the 3 and 4 year deals, I just don't think that they would want to invest in a second running back, to be
Agreed.
honest.
So, y'all, thank you for watching the Ryan and Ryan mock draft. We will be back the week of the draft to give you our final mock. Ryan, thank you for joining me, my friend.
Thank you for having me on this channel, good sir, and I look forward to collaborating with you again soon.
Absolutely. I already have a plan for us to do some weekly, maybe not weekly. We'll see what my work schedule is like once the NFL season hits, but expect to see Ryan and Ryan talking the New York Giants this year.
Hell yeah.
Thank you, guys. The Goose is out. Hey!